going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've been wanting to bring this segment back forever. I am actually still trying to figure out if I want to keep doing it like this in a long form video, or maybe just a short where I just literally show off every Blu-ray. But sometimes I have a little bit more to say about my Blu-ray haul, so I am bringing back the Blu-ray hauls. This is the monthly Blu-ray haul that I used to do a couple years ago before I moved the first time. Now that I moved the second time, I figured, let's start with the ones that I got in July, since that's halfway through the year, and we'll go from there, and we'll just keep doing them every month from now on. And I'm also, once I hit 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to give you guys an entire Blu-ray collection video again. The last one I did was 2020, and this time it'll hopefully be 2024 or 2025 when I get that video up in a Blu-ray box set collection. And I also want to do an entire t-shirt collection. That would be really cool. But let's get started with the Blu-ray haul from July. Some of these are going to be from June because I haven't re-alphabetized everything. But let's start with the first one. It's a collection, and that is Rocky, the Ultimate Knockout Collection. Now, this is on 4K for the first time, so I believe Rocky, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, and Rocky 4 were released in a collection earlier last year, I think. But like, what's the point if you're not going to release the entire box set collection? I waited for that. I didn't get the Rocky 1 through 4 collection. The thing is that got released because it had the director's cut of Rocky 4, Rocky versus Drago in it. This also has it. So this is Rocky, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, and then it says includes theatrical version, and then also Rocky versus Drago, the ultimate director's cut. Something that, and I have not seen that cut yet. That is something I'm really looking forward to when I go back and watch all the Rocky and Creed movies. And the making of Rocky versus Drago Keep Punching. So that's a really cool special feature that I also want to check out. And then Rocky 5 and Rocky Balboa. This also has the director's cut of Rocky Balboa. I didn't know there was a director's cut until this box set came out. So you have the entire Rocky collection here. Unfortunately, it does include Rocky 5. So I'm glad I waited for that, because I was just like, what is the last one that came out? What was the point of not releasing them all? I didn't understand that. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait for a later date, see if they release them all in one collection, and they did. And that was it. Up next is Abigail. I finally saw this movie, didn't see it in the theaters. This was a really entertaining vampire flick. Melissa Barrera kicks all sorts of ass in this. Dan Stevens is at his best when he's just playing a nihilistic douche, and he is in this movie. It takes a little bit to get going, but it's radio silence. Some of their movies do take a little bit to get going, but once they get going, they are really, really fun. It's not like the greatest vampire movie I've ever seen, but it is so much fun, especially the second half of that movie. Up next, we have American Fiction. This is a really good movie. I actually really love this movie. Jeffrey Wright is one of my favorite actors to portray Felix Leiter in Bond. I've been on the lookout for him ever since I first saw him in Casino Royale. He's great. This was a great movie. It took me a couple sittings to get through it because I kept watching it late at night because I was falling asleep. And when that happens, I actually, if I watch like 40 minutes of the movie, I actually the next day go back and start it over. Like, I'm just a completionist like that. I'm a weirdo like that. Like, I don't pick up from where I left off. I'm like, nope, it doesn't feel complete to me. So yeah, that's my weird little habit when it comes to watching movies. I have to get it done in one sitting, and if I don't, I start it over the next time I watch it, which is weird. But American Fiction, I didn't see that in theaters either. That was really, really good. This was a blind buy for me. I haven't seen this yet, and I'm starting to get really into the Studio Ghibli's The Boy and the Heron. I am really looking forward to checking this out. I might check it out tonight or tomorrow. I still haven't watched it since I got it. Some of these I got before I went to San Diego, so this is one that I'm really, really interested in because I think that this has the potential to be Studio Ghibli or Ghibli, however you say it, their best movie. Their best one that I've seen so far is Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind. I think I've seen that. Howl's Moving Castle, Spirited Away, I've definitely seen. Kiki's Delivery Service. That might be it. I have Castle in the Sky, but I haven't watched Castle in the Sky yet. I'm really looking forward to watching that as well. But Boy and the Heron looks really good. Now, this is one that people are hyping up as an underrated action movie from 2024, and I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was like great or anything. Has some really cool world building, but that's really it, and some really cool action. Boy Kills World. It is over the top, it is graphic, it is wicked fun, but it's nothing special, you know? Like, everybody was like, "Oh, this is the must-see action movie of 2024," and I was like, "Yeah, no, it's fine. It's entertaining, it's fun, I had a fun time watching it." But it was just I expect the way people were hyping it up, I was expecting a little bit more, and, I mean, the mixed reviews, I get it, but, like, hey, I liked it a little bit more than the mixed reviews said, so I guess I'm somewhere in the middle between the mixed reviews and the hype people are giving it. There you go. The Boys in the Boat. Interesting movie. I thought that this was actually a lot better than your typical sports drama. I mean, yes, it follows all the cliches. You know, it feels like it goes on for probably 20 minutes too long, but it's inspirational, and I'm a sucker for these types of biopics or inspirational sports movies, whatever you want to call them. Up next is one of my favorites of the year, where I don't think a single character in this movie is likable. Challengers. They're all the villains in this movie. If you haven't seen it, they're all the villains. They all suck. But it's an example of unlikable characters that are so well written. I feel like I'm re-reviewing the movie right now. I got to rewatch this. I haven't rewatched it yet, and this movie is incredible. It's one of my favorites of the year. All right, this is one that I vowed I would never get on Blu-ray because I saw it in the theaters. I was like, that was really good. I never want to watch it again, and I don't think I ever will watch it again. Civil War says so much about our current political climate in the US and where we could be heading, which is scary if a certain somebody wins. It rubbed me in a way that I've never been rubbed before. That sounded wrong, sorry. And it disturbed me in the ways that, like, you wouldn't expect a movie like this to disturb you, and it does. It's not the fact that it's scary. It's just it's scary in the sense that it's not a horror film. It could be real life. That's what makes it scary. It's one of those I feel obligated to own, but I might just use it as like a coaster or something, you know? This one I really, really liked from this year, The Fall Guy. I haven't watched the extended cut of it yet. I watched it, I wanted to show it to my mother, so I watched it with her. We watched the 2 hour cut. I believe the extended cut is, yeah, it's 2 hours and 26 minutes, which I think was the original cut they were going to release in theaters because that runtime was listed for a long time on AMC, IMDb, the Wikipedia page. So I think that that was the cut that they were going to release for The Fall Guy. This is one of my favorite movies of the year as well, even though it starts off a bit slow, but once it gets going, and it's just a nice tribute to stunts. But yeah, I really need to go back and see if what that extended cut has to offer. It's an extra 20 minutes onto the movie. All right, so this next one, I just watched it this morning and I was fucking terrified. The First Omen. I have not seen any other Omen movies, and I'm planning to change that this year for the Spooktacular for Halloween. This terrified the living shit out of me, and I don't scare easily. That should tell you what you're in for. There's a used movie store in New Hampshire called the Bull Moose. So a lot of these I get at the Bull Moose because they're super cheap. They're not like $2.99, you know, but you can get stuff like this for like $7.99, $8.99, $6.99 sometimes. This is one that I've kind of been looking for a while because I remember seeing it when I was about 14 or 15. I think it came out in 2007 or 2008. And this was the greatest game ever played. I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters back then, and I really want to rewatch it. It was when Shia LaBeouf was really popular before he went cuckoo and then fixed himself up. So that's interesting. This next one completes the Tomorrowverse, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 3. I have seen it. I'm going to review it. I am behind on reviewing this movie. I was gonna review it right when I got back from San Diego Comic-Con. I was just so tired, and I wanted to get that giant Comic-Con video out, and I just ran out of time. I did watch it. It's okay. It's we'll talk about it when we get to the review. I got another. This one I found at the Bull Moose as well. This one, Justice League: Throne of Atlantis. These anime, I don't expect anything great out of these animated movies. Just they're fine, you know, like they're I mean, but this one's way better than Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths and that whole Tomorrowverse. Here's another fun one from this year, a Guy Ritchie movie, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. It's okay, it's one of his weaker ones, but Guy Ritchie just always entertains me. And listen, DC did Henry Cavill dirty. I'm not saying this guy is the greatest actor on the planet. I'm not even saying I liked his version of Superman all that much, but if they had given me a Superman trilogy or if they had extended his role as Superman, I probably could have gotten on board with him. So it's nice to see him in a lead like this. And you also have my boy who played the OG Aquaman, Alan Richardson. He's awesome. Another great action movie from this year, Monkey Man. I have to rewatch this, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what this looks like in 4K. Dev Patel does everything in this movie, and it's crazy because it looked like a John Wick clone, and it actually has a lot more to say than just being a John Wick. Haha. So another Studio Ghibli or Ghibli, however you say it. As I said, this is probably my favorite one, Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind. This is wild, out there, and so original. When movies are like this, I don't know how people come up with so much imagination like this. It baffles me because I do not have an ounce of any of the imagination that Miyazaki has when he makes these movies. I don't know how that man does it, but he does. Right, we are almost done. This one I got at the Bull Moose too. I haven't seen it. It's Past Lives. I've heard such great things about this. I'm really looking forward to checking this out. I think almost all my friends loved it. This is another one I had that I got at the Bull Moose. I haven't seen it since I was little. I don't have actually seen it. I don't remember that. Was this the one where they're like? I know that the Perfect Storm. Like I know that there's I could be mistaking movies. It could be a completely different movie that I have no clue what it was. But obviously, like they're in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of a hurricane. But I think from what I remember when I was a kid, oh, I know Mark Wahlberg dies at the end, so that's a plus. That there's a scene with a shark that comes on the boat. I could be completely wrong. See, The Perfect Storm, I think, is a decent movie if I'm recalling correctly, and I'm saying that based on the fact if I have seen it. But that was probably 20 years ago. Ay, ay, ay. All right, and last but not least for this Blu-ray haul, also one that I got at the Bull Moose, one that I've been wanting to check out because I love Robert Downey Jr., The Soloist. I've heard some really good things about this, and I'm curious because I remember when this first came out, or the trailer for it first came out, I remember it played in front of so many movies back in like 2009, 2010. It was right after Robert Downey Jr. had done Iron Man. And so that was Iron Man was his big comeback. So of course, like he's starting to make all these movies for his big comeback. And I just remember sitting in the theater, like, because he had the short hair. I was like, is that Downey Jr.? And sure enough, it was. And so I'm trying to get into some more like old Robert Downey Jr. movies. And this is one I want to check out. There's also a horror movie he did called In Dreams. I remember my father having that movie on DVD in our house growing up, and I never watched it because the cover was so like creepy to me. But I want to check that out. I don't know if I'll buy it, but I want to stream it if I don't buy it because I want to check out Robert Downey Jr.'s older movies before he made the comeback. I would even say maybe Zodiac could be his comeback. It's all up for debate. So that's it for the Blu-ray haul for July and some from June. I'm going to keep doing these, guys. I love doing these. I miss doing these. So what did you guys buy on DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K in the month of July? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll leave my link to my website in the description below as well. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. My name is Alex Madden, and I'll see you at the movies somewhere.